agenda, but to not save time, but I think it's quite clear what is there. Has everybody had the opportunity to read it prior to tonight and give it consideration? Okay, so I won't read out what is there. In addition to what the clerk said in answer to some questions, I think what we should consider is not necessarily a historical trip down the past, but just a timeline of what has happened within the council in relation to the ownership, the due diligence, the business questions, the landlord, the trying to get tenants, and I think we should put that out now just in case everybody isn't aware of the work that has been going on in the background. Do you want to elaborate with from the asbestos onwards, or when you came on board, and the inquiries that we've had and when we've had them, and what's prompted the inquiries?
Yeah,
or do you want me to? I don't mind.
I don't mind.
You do it. Yeah.
I appreciate that we were talking over. Thank you. So, obviously, the garages were purchased just before I started. And then we talked about the rental, and that was then put on pause while we had the asbestos report, which was around February time. The initial advert for the ballots went out on the 5th of March, and we had 2 people come back from that out of the possible 6 garages available. Then we've obviously put this agenda out, and we've had a possible 2 to 3 more.
So we potentially got, if we said 5 people that have expressed an interest, and just to clarify that the publishing of this agenda generated 3. 1 is outside the area, so if we say definite 2 positive interests, but it doesn't mean to say we can't rent garages to people out of the area, does it? Gary?
Can I ask, is that for a parking spot on the garage?
No, it's to the garage. And if you recall, go on.
Sorry, when you say expressed an interest, are they interested in buying it at the price that you originally offered it at?
No, this is renting a garage.
Just renting?
Just renting the space at £100.
Yeah, £100.
Yes.
I'm asking, are they interested in it for £100?
Yeah, because in terms of business, if you like, for that transaction for the rental has been drawn up, and it was £100, wasn't it? And there was some stipulation about what you could and couldn't keep in there, no businesses, etc., etc. So that document is good to go, if that's the route we take. There was another matter, something that I will raise this because I think we need to all be aware of it. It was something that I've raised previously, is the rateable value. And at the moment, can I refer to the correspondence that you've had?
Yeah.
Or can you refer to the correspondence?
So I emailed the valuations office, and after a bit of toing and froing, so we're confused about how the site was being used, even though I don't know what's so confusing about garages. But anyway, they've now come back and said that they're not sure if there should be a rateable value on it because there is an exemption clause that it could come under. Because when that came to me, this was all up in the air. I put it on hold because I wasn't going to work on it until we knew definitely exactly what we were doing with the site, or if we were changing use or whatever, because otherwise I'd have to go back down the road again. So at the minute it's on hold, so we still are a bit on a grey area of whether there's going to be a rateable value or not, or of how much. But these take a lot of months to come through anyway. It's been taking a couple of years.
Any questions from anybody here? Or any opinions or comments?
Well, I've got an opinion really. As far as rateable value, you have got no idea what it will be, and you can't sort of rely on anything because I've just got an offer property that and it was £900 a year, £9,000 a year, and it took the rent up to £18,000 a year. No changes, no nothing at all, because that came back. So you'll know, this day and age now, you've no idea what people rent's going to give you, have you? Not at all. And that's something that probably as landlords will be responsible for.
This is the place to raise ideas for the landlords. One second.
This is a free discussion time.
Okay. I know there's been a lot of, I don't know how to describe it, is discussions about garages. But I'd like us to move forward as a council and see these as an asset if it's possible. Because we don't have many assets. And I think using this would be a good asset. We don't have to keep it as garages, these other ideas. I'm just going to throw some ideas out there. I'm not saying any of these will work. But we could put a recharging station on there powered by solar panels. We could have a small Lido for young children. There's all sorts of different ways we could utilise that area. And I'd just like you to consider that before you think about any proposal.
Wasn't the decision taken in council to sell it?
Sorry, Stuart,
Wasn't the decision taken in council to sell it?
we've never made a decision.
But we should know.
No.
It was to have extraordinary meetings to discuss
It
the
was to
potential
have-
sale,
Yeah, to have this meeting to discuss it.
because it would have been too quick in that meeting to just go, we're selling them without all the information and a full discussion on it.
It'd be interesting to see the minutes on that.
Yeah,
Well, I tend to agree to some extent with Gary because it's land. It's not going to depreciate in value. And as he said, it has an asset. And it looks as if we've got some potential renters, so we will get even if it's only a small income from it.
there has been some maths done on the return. Can you share your figures of the past?
Well, if 80% of the garages are rented out, it's going to take us, depending on rateable value, around about 8 years. But also, I've been told by another resident that the wall's been knocked down 3 times in the space of a year that he knows about. So we've also got to factor in that that entrance isn't very wide and how many times it's going to be knocked down. I went past it today and it's got a big camper van on there. So
Yeah, I've seen that twice.
yeah, so you've got to factor in the cost of maintenance of the site as well, because every time that wall gets knocked down, we're going to have to fix it or make it safe. And obviously you've got the debris on the floor as well.
Can we not, the person who knocked it down,
Yeah.
bill them?
It depends if we know who's knocked it down.
I've got their photograph if you want it.
I was going to say, somebody lives quite close.
Or it could be that we look at an alternative wall. There's ways around it, but obviously we've got to factor that cost in, whether we're going to change the wall or repair it.
Anybody else got any other? Yeah.
I've been past twice this week, and it's been full of cars. So, and it was 9:40, 11 o'clock in the day, so it's not children being dropped off. Are those people who would have a sin at just parking? Can they park as well as the garages or not?
Well, there was some research done by Councillor Kevin Grocott, because we did discuss the garages previously, and they are quite tiny. And if you recall, we had a conversation about cars have got bigger, and you can get in, but you can't get out. And he went and sort of did some parking, if I'm not mistaken, and thought there could be 11 cars on there. But I was a bit confused about the maths of that. Because I visually didn't think that if you've got cars either not against the wall, parallel to the wall, but perpendicular, the access, if you're renting the garage separately to somebody else, I don't think you get the swing to get in. So, and I know the site quite well, so I just thought, I'm not sure that 11, I think that was a bit generous, but we haven't considered an option of knocking the garage down and having car parking spaces like we've got here. I mean, that.
How much does this generate?
We've got 8, 7 permits.
700
a month.
yeah.
A year for a car
year,
park
yeah.
space.